Most likely, if you follow my channel, you're the kind of person who does care about their growth, does care about personal development. But have you noticed that, there's two kinds of people. When you say the word personal development, some people get super excited. They're like, yeah, I love it. I want to do it. I work on myself all the time. While other people, they just start laughing and call it a scam. Yeah, there are people like that. So let me tell you my story and how I got into personal development and how the last decade of really focusing on myself has gone. So it all started around age of 16. I wasn't a big book reader until one birthday I was given a gift, a book called The Success Principles. I read it for a few months. It was like 300 to 400 pages. And I loved it. And I wanted to spread this message. I went to my friends. I was like, hey, guys, you got to read this book. It's about taking responsibility. It's about positive thinking. It's about good habits. But to my surprise, they were not as excited as I was about it. Now, obviously, looking back, it makes sense because everybody has different ambitions, everybody has different goals. And just because I suddenly decided that, hey, I gotta work on myself, this is the thing, this is what's gonna make me successful, doesn't mean it's gonna be the same for other people, right? Luckily for me, when I joined university, I was also offered a place in a program called Southwestern Advantage, which gives students an opportunity to learn all the theory about basically about managing yourself and about self development. But then they also give these students a chance to put it to use, to really try it out and to work sales very hard, 6 days a week, 13 hours a day, in order for you to really build that character and for you to use everything that you've read in books about taking control, focusing on controllables, but really try it out. And I'm super, super grateful that I had this opportunity to do that and to go through that. And for the last 8 years or so, I have been teaching all these lessons, all these methods to other students. And I am very passionate about helping people develop skills, develop character for them to reach their goals in life. Because most of us, we want to do big things. We want to be millionaires. We want to be successful. We want to live in a big house. We want this happy life. But not all of us are actually ready to put in that work and actually do things and work on ourselves to really make it happen. And in general, I do feel like this whole topic of self-development, it is spreading a lot. There's new books probably coming out every single day about how to work on ourselves and how to make our lives better. So my hopes are that it is really spreading and people are catching up on it and they want to focus on themselves a little bit more because times are changing, people are changing. This whole, push it through, rough it through. It is changing. That's just how it works, right? And there's still question like why are some people so scared of personal growth? Because if you look at it in reality, no, I don't think anybody's like super super against it. It's just when you use this word personal development, people get scared. They think it's some hippie stuff, It's nothing that a tough man should do, You should just go and then do stuff. But in reality, we all set some New Year's resolutions. We sometimes try to break some bad habits. We want to implement some good habits. We want to start going to gym. So we still work on ourselves, but no, we not always we call it like a personal development because it just has a maybe not such a good note to it always, and then hasn't been until recently. And like I said, I hope it is changing, and it seems like things are changing since more and more people do actually think about it and talk about it. But talking about those people who are scared or who maybe don't believe in it, and I know a lot of people like that who even though I've been in a bubble of self-development and most of my friends are very much into it and growing and learning and working on themselves, I'm still around people who, you tell them, something along the lines, you should try positive self-talk, try to say more positive things to yourself. And there's gonna be like, no, it's like, what for? It's not gonna help, or it's I just don't need it. And why I think it is like that, because from our parents, or how we've been programmed, parents, teachers, early days, we have been taught that you need to push through things. Acknowledging your feelings, that's for like weak people, or we don't do that. Being vulnerable, that's not a good thing, right? And I can even share like a story as well. I started working with a new team last year. And in that team, there are people in their 20s, there are people in 30s, there are even people in their 50s, right? And you can see that difference quite a bit on how people look at those things when I start talking about setting goals, or I start talking about positive thinking, or hey, maybe let's put the negative things aside, let's not talk about those, let's focus on the good stuff. And reactions are different, and young people, they do agree to that and kind of buy into that idea much faster. Even though I noticed in my team as well, most of them, or almost everybody, had like this pushback at first. Like, no, what's self-talk? Like talking to yourself, saying good things about yourself? Nah, but I don't do that. But now, like 9 months, 10 months later, you can see that most of them have caught up on that, and they understand how it helps, and that it helps a lot, right? And also, like talking to yourself or saying positive phrases to yourself, at first it does feel a bit awkward and embarrassing. And so the big question is, should you pay any time to your growth, to your personal development, to positivity, to setting goals, and thinking positively and all of that? And the answer is obvious, yes. Yes, of course, you should do that. Because I like to use this one analogy that, consider this, around like, if I had to guess, and then you can do your own research, but I would say around 80 people in the world, they live paycheck to paycheck, or even worse, or they're in poverty, and they're not happy, they're grumpy. So the question is, why would you do something that most people are doing? Why would you follow what's been taught for many, many years, even though it's clearly not working? Why wouldn't you be that crazy person and try something new? Trust your gut, follow your instincts, focus on the positive. Why wouldn't you do that? I think the answer is pretty clear. You should, right? So I often think, I can share another story actually. When I joined this program when I was in my first year of university, and when I was taught more about positive thinking and good self-talk, and every morning when I went to university and somebody asked me like, hey Renars, how you doing, how's your morning, my answer was always the same. I said, it's going amazing, awesome. And for people that felt kind of weird, they were like, Renars, why are you always so positive? And it doesn't mean that I always was positive, but it means that I was always trying to work on myself and always trying to stay positive and to feel good. Because let's be real, this last point I'm making, that you can't always feel good, right? Sometimes you wake up feeling bad, and that's fine. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to change it or try to feel better, but it also doesn't mean that you should fake it. You should not put on this fake smile and just like everything's good and just push your feelings down. No, that's not what this whole personal development is about. It it is about acknowledging your feelings, acknowledging how you feel, and working on it. Working on it to make yourself feel good and to work towards a better future. So my encouragement to you all is to start focusing on your own growth. Try to feel better, try to think more positive, be grateful for the things you have. Set some goals, try to work for them, work on your discipline. Be more conscious about your personal growth, about your self development, and you will notice very fast how things start changing, how you start waking up feeling better, and life just becomes sunnier. Thank you guys, and don't forget to leave a comment if you have some stories of your own, how personal development has changed your life and how you practice it daily, or you have seen how it has helped other people. So don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll make sure that I'll answer it in the next video. Thank you.